Hello and welcome to the first episode of Books by Liesel. Yes, you heard me right. I am adding another series to my channel, and that is Books by Liesel. Maybe you're asking yourself why. If you did watch my video on the 2nd of April, I mentioned that Q2, some new things will be coming your way, and this is one of those things, okay? So I have decided to now fully give my time and my attention to my art. I've always been creating since I was this tiny, if that's possible. But I've been creating in terms of drawing, writing, singing, performing art since I was little. And I did work 4 years as a graphic artist, and part of my art and storytelling is what you already see in my other videos. And for now, I'm also branching into really then authoring books and content that you can buy either digitally or as a physical copy. So on this series and on the episodes, we'll be going from idea to book on my author journey. And for this first episode, we are looking at my first book, Questions My Life as an Adult. But before we go into that, let me just quickly talk about the structure. So we're going to talk about, I'll read from the book, the title of the day. We'll go into my why. Why did I write the book? What was the idea behind it? Then we'll go into the topic of where you can purchase it. Then we'll talk about what technologies I used, what were the costs, what were the challenges I faced. And then we'll talk about what next and the lessons I learned. So let's start from today's book. I just got a proof copy. This is a proof copy of the book I published on the 30th of April. At least I got the email on the 30th that it was now live. It's showing that I submitted it on the 27th of April, but it's definitely published April 2026. Questions My Life as an Adult. From BB1. For some of you might be asking, who's BB? I have a second name, which many of you may not know, and the short form of my second name is BB. And I preferred to have a pen name that was quite close to my real one, but still a little bit different so that I would have some differences in there. So for today's reading, I'm going to do the introduction and I'm going to read achievements, which is part of the book as well. So let's start with the introduction. Questions My Life as an Adult. At 44, I thought I would have answers. Instead, I have better questions. This book is not about certainty. It's about the quiet realization that adulthood does not arrive fully formed or fully understood. Through a series of reflective questions, the author explores how the answers once believed to be true have evolved, unraveled, or led to even deeper questions over time. Organized across 8 core areas of adult life: personal identity, relationship, finances, career, faith, contribution to society, health, and essential life skills. This book captures the complexity of growing older without growing certain. It is an invitation to pause, reflect, and sit with the truth many adults rarely say out loud. Not having all the answers isn't failure, it's growth. Okay? So that's the introduction, which gives you a little bit of a rough idea where we're going. Now let me read achievements, which is a part of personal identity for you. Actually, I'm on the page woman, female, mother. So maybe let's do that because I'm a woman. I recall a conversation with a friend in which I mentioned that if I had a child and access to proper childcare, I would return to work 6 months after giving birth. She frowned and said that would make me a Rabenmutter, a German term for an unfit mother. I found that strange. In Nigeria, legally supported paid maternity leave is just 12 weeks. Does it mean that all working mothers who return to work after 12 weeks are unfit? Is that really what determines the value of the bond between a mother and her child? At 39, I found myself in a clinic in Tanzania with abdominal pain, undergoing an ultrasound. I wouldn't forget the look on the consultant's face when I said I didn't have children. He had just seen my myomas on the scan and looked at me as though my life was over. When I asked if I was in danger, he said no, but that I might have difficulty conceiving. My response, "Oh, that's fine," only seemed to confuse him further. You see, I didn't understand why I should feel sad or worried about something I wasn't actively pursuing at the time. I like to think of my myomas as a reminder that, like many wildebeests who never have offspring yet live out their lifespan, I too have a place and a purpose in this world. After 4 years of not visiting a gynecologist, I found a new one. I had forgotten about my myomas because we had established they do me no harm. She does the scan, the panic returns. Have you had children? Do you want children? These are all good questions, but if they are my primary concern, wouldn't I be the one asking? Or searching for solutions to fix what is apparently presumed to be wrong with me? Honestly, the first time I heard about them, I secretly thought to myself, oh, that's why I've gone scot-free all these years. So what is a woman's place in the world if she wants to have children but biologically can't? Or if she simply isn't concerned about it? Does this reduce her value as a person? Or are there other aspects that are just as relevant? While studying arts in Nigeria, I stayed briefly with a roommate's family, balancing schoolwork with commissioned projects. One evening, her mother said to me, "Your future husband would gain a great businesswoman, but he should look elsewhere for chores." To her, my strengths were clear: creativity, independence, and strong focus. Questions my life as an adult. So that's a part of the book. This is a proof copy. It came yesterday. So let's go into the why. Why did I choose to start with this book? There's so many ideas in my head. I could have started with anyone. First and foremostly, I started writing this book on the 1st of January, 2026. These are my manuscripts. You can see I still write with pen and paper. I don't type because I've never been good at typewriting. I would take forever to do it, so I write. And then we'll talk about that in the technology section, how I did that. I mentioned in my announcement about the book that I have decided to go into full-time entrepreneurship, doing the stuff I love and trying to make a living from them. And the minute I announced that, or even before announcing that, there were so many questions that were asked. How are you going to do this? What are you going to do? Where's the money going to come from? Have you checked this? Have you checked that? Have you checked this? And one thing I've realized growing up, and maybe I thought before it wouldn't be like this, was that I would have more answers and not need to answer more questions. Because like as a child, you always had to explain. You always had to take permission. You always had to say this and that. And I think I thought as a child that, when I grew up, it would be different. It's not. I actually have more questions to answer to myself and to other people. So when I said I was going to leave my full-time job, which is a very good job, by the way, of course, people were like, what are you going to do? What's behind it? Have you thought about it properly? What's the plan? What's going to happen if this and this does not happen? So there are more questions. Everything you do, every decision and action you make is accompanied by a lot of questions. And the whole idea behind this book is just to say, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Do not panic. A friend of mine, when I started writing it, says, oh my God, you have a lot of questions. I said, yes, because that is what I experience in life. Your life might be different. Your questions might be different. Okay? Maybe my questions are a lot more because I like to do a lot of maybe not so common things. I like to do a lot of more, I don't know. Or maybe you have the same amount of questions as I do, or you're asked a lot of questions like I get. But all I'm trying to say in the book is that it's okay to acknowledge that these questions are there. It's okay if you're not comfortable with the answers. It's okay if you're not comfortable with the questions being asked. It's also okay to try and understand why you're asking those questions. As usual, I have a chat with two of my closest friends and we write about whatever. I actually started the chat when I went back to volunteer in Nigeria because I wanted to keep them updated, and we're still using the chat till today. And in the process of emptying my flat, I'm selling on different platforms. And honestly, the different interactions trigger a lot in me, and I ask a lot of questions. And I think it must have been on Friday or on Thursday, I wrote in the group saying, I don't know why this person wants to buy this thing. What are they doing with it? And my friends were like, ha, Liz, why are you asking? Why do you want to know that? What does it matter to you? Or what is, and a friend of mine said that sometimes when we ask questions is because whatever is going on triggers our own perceptions, our own ideas, values. It triggers it. It conflicts with it. That's why those questions come. And it's okay to sit down and accept that those questions are there. It's also okay to ask, okay, what now? How do I go from this question? What is bothering me about it? What questions come to me every day and why do they bother me and what can I do about it? So it's more about just acknowledging that even though you have grown older, even though you have done several things in your life, maybe things you believed would be markers of success, maybe things you believe would be the things that show you you're going the right way, they have changed. Acknowledge it. It's fine. It's okay. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you don't maybe have the answers as well. That's not a crime. So that's the whole idea behind the book. It's just going through different principles, going through how I've changed also over time, how things, for example, one really important thing is when we talk about life skills. I mean, if you know Africans, you know Nigerians, we say African time. A lot of my friends, maybe if they see this video, my friends from Germany, they'll be like, we suffered in Liz's hand at the beginning. Because if you're 30 minutes late, if you're 40 minutes late, the world did not end now. Why are you so aggressive? Here, no. If you are coming 5 minutes late, you have to call and say, I'm sorry, I'm late. 5 minutes. Where we back home, you will show up 2 hours later. You will not even explain why. So those are some of the things where now, for me, like being on time is a thing. No, if you're going to be late, that really gets on my nerves. Well, whereas before, I had no questions that she didn't show. Okay, that's fine. So that's it. It's just acknowledging where you've moved, what has changed for you, and all of that. So where can you buy the book? It is live on Amazon as paperback and as an ebook. And let's now come to the technologies used and the challenges faced. Oh my God, my people. So first and foremost, like I said, I'm old school. I write. No, I buy these books. And I've been writing in books like this since I was very little. I wrote a lot of novels back home. I don't know where they are, unfortunately. I couldn't find them when I went back home. But I write. I like to write. How do I get my written words into a digital format so I can work further with it? I don't like typing, so I use speech to text. I use speech to text apps and I read my manuscript into it and then I correct it because sometimes it just writes nonsense as well. I correct it. So that's one thing I use, speech to text, to get my written manuscript into a digital format that I can further edit. Then when it comes to like what Word document, I don't have Microsoft Word anymore. I don't want to pay. Yeah, they're paying for too many things. We are trying to start and make money, so I don't want to pay. So I'm using Google Doc. I use Google Doc, and Google Doc might not always have the custom size of the book that you are making. There is an extension. So a lot of YouTube watching, DIY, teach yourself. There's an extension that you can add to use it to get the manuscript size that you need for KDP. Good. So that's that's what I use in terms of getting it. Now, of course, when I originally wrote the book, it was really just all questions and some short stories. And I provided the first draft to my sister, my friends, and I said, what do you think? One of my friends said, hey, I'm getting anxious just reading a lot of questions. And I like the personal stories you have in it. Can you put more of it? I said, yes, I can, but I didn't want people to get distracted by the personal stories because I feel like, okay, these questions, they might have the same questions, but they might not be coming from where I'm coming from. So the book is not supposed to tell them what to think based on me. It's just supposed to help them identify if they have similar questions in those areas that they're coming across and they want to kind of evaluate. But then I went back and I added the personal stories and blah. And when you start doing things like that, you kind of need to join it, glue it up, make it flow effortlessly. So while some people will go and say, hey, generative AI. No, my friend, I use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT quite a lot for different things, because when I've been making my videos or writing my blogs, I need to find articles. And normally I used to use Google search to find the articles, and then I'd have to read through it and sum it up and then put it in. But for me, ChatGPT is more like, it's an efficient assistant. I write my prompt and I write exactly what I want in my prompt and say, give me this. But that's where you have to watch out, because my experience using ChatGPT, even for work and now privately, is that ChatGPT likes to add what you didn't ask it. And in terms of the language, it will now manufacture some other things. And I know my tone of voice. So I'm like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I remove it. But another thing it does, which I wasn't quite aware of, is that when it joins sections for you that you've added, it keeps doing all these hyphen things, which is then a sign to all the ones witch hunting to see if you use ChatGPT, that you use ChatGPT to edit. So puts a lot of hyphens in there. So it's something to put in mind. You might not immediately notice the hyphens when you're reading, because first of all, for me, it's not that noticeable because it is my text. It is what I wrote. I've just said, rewrite it, reformat it. So I don't immediately notice the hyphens because it is my text. But it has done something and then put 10,000 hyphens, so you have to pay attention to that. I didn't pay attention to it. Thankfully, if you're publishing on KDP, you can correct the manuscript and re-upload. It takes 72 hours for paperback. Same thing also for ebooks, but ebooks are a little bit faster to get the approval for it to be changed. So I used ChatGPT. What else did I use? I used Canva to do the book design. In terms of the book design, the book cover, this is an image I love so much. The picture was taken by a friend of mine who's a professional photographer, Vincenzo. When I came back from traveling, I told him I needed a new picture for LinkedIn, because there's some of you that your LinkedIn picture is from 1980 and you are still using it. I don't believe in that. I don't want to deceive anybody. So when I came back, I said, you have to take a picture of how I look like now. Not how I look like in 4 years ago, now. So that whoever is buying from me knows who they are buying from. So it was during that photo shoot that he took this image. I didn't know he was taking it. And when he showed it to me, I said, oh my God, I so love it. There's something about it. So when I was thinking about like the perfect cover for this book, this just made sense. Actually, in the original design, I had nothing in front, but a friend of mine was like, Liz is minimalistic. People will not know what it's about. So I managed to just put the title and the name on it. Anyway, we'll talk about the challenges later when we're talking about the proof copy. So the cover design I did with Canva. You can do your cover design with KDP, but I didn't like the flexibility. It was not giving me enough flexibility to do what I wanted, right? So I did it in Canva. For Canva, I actually have a paid version because I'm doing other books which will be related to content on the channel. So my travel people, I haven't forgotten you. There's some travel memoirs and some picture books coming out, and I'm using Canva for that. So that's literally about it for the technology. I am, however, reviewing the technology I'm going to use for an audiobook, because I want to turn it into an audiobook. Right, I want to turn it into an audiobook, so I'm still reviewing what technology I will use for the ebook. And let's now start about the challenges and the learn curve. So I talked to you about the hyphens. I hadn't noticed because, like I said, it is my text. So if you put hyphen there or you put comma there, that one are your business. I'm telling you to edit it for me because I'm not Queen of England. I'm not Queen of English. But then a friend pointed out that to me, and I thought, oh Lord, let me go look where this thing put hyphen and I want to wound me finish with hyphen. So I went back and I saw, okay, there are quite a number of them, so I have to re-edit the manuscript and get rid of those. But for the ebook, I tried to upload my document and it came out looking nonsensical. And you know, I have these lines in here, which for the ebook doesn't make sense. I know I come a little bit closer where the workbook sheets, it doesn't make sense. So first thing I had to do is go back in and change the format of the ebook to have the questions, but not the lines, because the lines were not appearing properly. So apparently I still need to get skilled on that. So I took out the lines, but left the questions for the ebook. As well as when I uploaded the PDF, it just wasn't flowing properly. I uploaded the doc, it wasn't flowing properly. And then I started Googling again to see what applications can you use to create ebook content for KDP. KDP has Kindle Create, so this application, so I downloaded it. And it has a structure that you have the front matter, the body, and the back matter. The format of the front matter and back matter, or drama at all is not good, because I originally did it with that, and then I said, your book is approved, and then I went and clicked on have a preview. Oh God, I saw it and I said, no, I cannot do this to people. I cannot do this to people. This is not what they'll be seeing if they click on my ebook preview. It looks horrible. So I've gone back in and now did everything, all the content on that body, because there at least I have a better flexibility of making it look a certain kind of way. And then I exported it. I think it's called a KDF or something like that file, or the KPF file, something like that. I exported it and then I could upload it as the ebook. But it took me hours to even get there. It took me hours to even understand there is a preview icon when you're using that thing, so you can actually see how the text is flowing, because you want the text to flow, right? You want the text to flow, you can see how it's flowing. And it will look different on a regular tablet, on a Kindle, or on a mobile phone. So that was one challenge I had. The other challenge I had was, yes, I used to design annual reports and all of that, but it's been a while. And I kind of didn't put into consideration that, okay, I do want my chapters to start on the right side. I'm trying to find one that started the way I wanted it to start to show you. So that's something you have to keep in mind for your book design, no? Let me see. One or two of them actually started on the side I wanted them to start. Yeah. So life skill starts here, right? I prefer it to start here, but for you to always get this, you have to work with blank pages, right? And I wasn't doing that. So you see how life skill starts, because I feel it's a natural flow. It's a natural read, life skills here. But then if you look at the other ones, so faith and religion started where I wanted it to start, but let's go further. Okay, that was also okay. So this, I don't like that it started here, but for me to get it here, I needed to have put a blank page. So now I've gone back and edited all of that. The next challenge I was facing is when you're doing a book, the acknowledgement, the dedication, the copyright page, the introduction, the prologue, these pages don't have a page number. I was working in Doc, and in Canva, you have a way to say, let the page number start from this page to this page. In Google Doc, it's not like that. So yesterday, thankfully, another YouTube tutorial. I now know with a page break and sections. For you people that have been using Google Doc, I don't use Google Doc that much. I used to use Microsoft Word. My last place of work, we were using Google, and it frustrated the life out of me. But now they say a beggar has no choice. I have to be friends with it. So a lot of YouTube tutorials are helping. Anyway, with the page break, I am now able to say, okay, start from here on link from the other section, and here are the page numbers. So the updated manuscript now has the chapters starting the way I want them to start, and the page numbers, as well as the wonderful dashes that ChatGPT was putting everywhere that they didn't ask it to put, taken away. I can talk freely about it because a lot of people are like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. No, ChatGPT did not write these pages that I was writing in Budapest or in Nigeria. So I'm not worried. And when you're uploading the book, they ask you, did you use AI? Yes, now, am I Professor Njoku? I'm not Professor Njoku. You know, there's some of these people that when you write email, you're writing hello. When you now send it, you see you wrote hell, Miss blah, blah, blah. I'm one of those people, so I have to help myself. And I've been selling to German customers since 2011 till this year, January. My German is not perfect. I have to help myself. Spoken, yes, but written, I have to help myself. If I don't help myself, I'll be writing nonsense to customers. So there's no shame in admitting when you need help, and it depends on how you use it. So that's it for like technologies. So what's next? What next is that I will have to promote the books. So there's the big question. Do I sell only just on Amazon? How do I promote the books? What do I use to promote it? What have I sold so far? Only 3 copies. In some way, I'm happy that it's only 3 because I'm still going back and making this correction. So what was my biggest learning? My biggest learning that I can give to you is do not click on publish before you get the proof copy. Seriously. I think that everybody else that isn't Liz probably knows that, but I can tell you that because so many things that since you're not everyday publisher, you're not used to, will become clear to you when you have that proof copy in your hand. So for example, another thing I want to talk about is how white this paper is. Honestly speaking, I was a little bit irritated. I was like, Jesus, this one look like it's too white for me. And I've just learned from other people's videos that actually Amazon cream is not the cream you get from traditional publishers. So for me, it would have still been okay, but it's okay. There are some things you cannot change after you've published the book. You have to unpublish it. So certain things that you cannot change is the paper type, because the paper type is now tied to the ISBN number. I think you can also not change the book size. It's already tied to it. The page count you can change to some extent. I heard something about 10% margin. So in my case now, with the blank pages that I'm using to get the chapters to start where I want them to start, my original page count was 123. It's now 131. I haven't done anything with the pricing. It's still the same price. It's just I want it to be more friendly for you when you read it. So that was it. That is Questions My Life as an Adult, and you have just listened to me on Books by Liesel. What's next? I have 3 other books finished, and I'm still in the process of deciding which platform I will print and publish it on, because these are colored books, and some people say that Amazon color is not so good. So as we said already, I am ordering proof copies to check the pricing, the quality from 2 different platforms, one of them being KDP. I'm still considering Ingram Spark. If I can activate my account there, I have the access to Lulu. The pricing I'm getting from Lulu, that one is scaring me so much, I don't even want to go there. I also have access to Blob, but the pricing is also iffy, so I don't know. We'll see. As a printing color is not for the faint-hearted. So please, my people, what's the call out? Enjoy the information in case you're deciding to go into self-publishing. Remember, get your proof copy before you click on publish. Otherwise, do support me on this journey. Buy your copy, ebook or paperback. Thank you very much for watching. Yours truly, Liesel81.